that did this for extra money. I know there was a Too Loose No Neck in the 80s in Milwaukee, and his name was Rick Felsky, and he just was walking around the studio and walked in and saw this, he saw this set going up for a horror host show, and he goes, well, this is cool. What's this all about? They go, well, don't you know? This is for a horror host show, and you're the host. He didn't even know. They already had chosen that he was going to have to do that goofy gig. So, then in the last minute, he told me, there's an interview on YouTube with me interviewing him, but he wasn't in makeup, but he was talking about the old days. And he said he literally, he had his makeup he'd come up with. It was minutes before he was supposed to go out and do the show, not surprising. And he didn't have a name for his character yet. So he just happened to look at a calendar, and it was Too Loose Lautrec. So that's when he came up with Too Loose No Neck.
Oh, okay.
The market quality, isn't it? But so yeah, it's just been a really cool history, and it's managed to, people are still doing it, and it's alive. And I'm doing 16 years, new show every week, and it was something I started out. It was just kind of, I went in there. I didn't really, I guess I didn't take it all that seriously. I mean, I built the nice set and everything right away, but it just kind of was irresponsible a little bit in the beginning. And then I noticed, I started hearing feedback that, like, grandparents were watching it on Saturday night with the grandkids. Like, this was something that they wanted to experience with their grandkids because they had grown up with a host. And I started hearing that, and I was like, okay, I got to pull it back a little bit now and be a little more responsible and put more energy to it. And then it started growing, because at that time, the only thing you had for really a platform was cable. In Kenosha and in Milwaukee was the same thing. There wasn't all these different options, And
sometimes no remote control. You had to actually get up and change the channel.
Well, that's back in my past, but and in any case though, then it just it just kept growing and growing, and it was really. It's not the same now because there are all those different platforms, and now MATA in Milwaukee closed. So after 15 and a half years in Milwaukee, that's not on currently right now. So we're going to figure out what we're going to do as far as getting that on Roku or getting our own, web channel going to continue. But then again, there's the radio show. So this radio show is kind of taking the lead over everything in a way, because you're on every night doing something. But,
and it's easy to listen to. Just go to the WLIP.com.
Right.
Play, and there you go.
Yeah. So we're all set up here, and so, it's a broadcast radio here in Kenosha, so it's the real deal. I got
a question for you, good sir.
Okay.
And if you have to say 5, I understand, because it's a hard question. Who's your favorite, either actress or actor, in horror?
Oh, well, it obviously would be Bela Lugosi.
Okay.
Oh, certainly Bela Lugosi, Lon Chaney coming in at second, and then, but that's for a male actor. For a female, I have to give that some thought.
Yeah.
There hasn't been really one that's been consistent all those years.
I'd say maybe Karen Black.
Karen Black,
Ooh,
Karen Black's a cool one.
When she gets chased by the Zuni warrior.
Yeah, that was
best.
Now that, you talk about that particular time in horror movies. We're talking like the early 70s, maybe mid 70s, when I believe it was ABC that was producing. They were producing TV movies that were predates viral as far as the reaction from the public. Those movies were getting big reactions. Everybody was talking about. What was that? Trilogy of Terror with Karen Black. Everybody talked about the original Night Stalker when it was a movie, the first one. That was, you blew up. Gargoyles was another one.
Kolchak or no?
Yeah, Kolchak. Okay. And then Gargoyles was another one that was really everybody talking.
That one was crazy.
Yeah.
They're in the desert, correct?
Yeah,
that was.
And then another big one, really not your typical kind of horror movie, but it was a thriller called Duel, about a guy being chased through the desert by a crazy guy.
That was
Spielberg.
Spielberg's first film.
Yep.
I own that on VHS and Blu-ray.
Oh wow! Yeah. Well, there you go.
I love it.
You got good taste, but those were just. All those were just you were gripped to the chair. Those were really that was an exciting time for television, you know.
And they left a lot to the imagination too. They didn't just,
yeah.
You know. But as far as my favorite actor, I actually had a T-shirt of him underneath my outfit at the show. But Vincent Price.
Oh well,
yeah.
you know, I didn't even. I should have said Vincent Price too in there. It's hard to compare those though, but they all are extremely fantastic, great, and talented.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And then Angus Grimm too. Rest in peace.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of them, and a lot of them guys didn't start out, you know, thinking they were going to be the cookie cutter horror lead actor guy. They just kind of, you know, fell into it. But it's interesting. It's been quite a legacy in horror. All right, Oliver, the Caretaker Collins. We have to take a commercial break for about 4 minutes. You going to stick with us, I hope?
Oh, yeah. I
Okay.
will be here.
Okay.
Fabulous. Thank you.
All right, we'll be back with more after these messages.
1050 WLIP. Dr. Destruction's Big Top Radio broadcast. After midnight, WLIP.
We are back on Dr. Destruction's Big Top Radio broadcast, coming to you live on this Thursday morning. And on the line, we have from the Fiendish Phantoms, which will be appearing Saturday, the 9th, at the Port of Kenosha Beverage House, 7014 50th Street, for the Crimson Theater 16-year anniversary party. And we have Oliver, the Caretaker Collins, with us. So glad you could join us tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Well, no problem. The ground is starting to freeze anyway, so I can't really dig too much in the graveyard. So
I got you.
Yeah.
I always wanted to work in a graveyard.
it's all right. If you like quiet, it's good.
Oh, that sounds perfect for me.
Well, I always found it to be a very peaceful place. Now, what do you think it is about? There is something comforting about the horror genre and the love of the horror movies, and now Halloween is probably more popular than it ever has been. Horror conventions are on the rise everywhere. Days of the Dead, for instance, just delivering fantastic shows for the fans. And what is it about horror movies and the genre that attracts you?
Just being scared. That feel of fear. It's uncontrollable. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't like spooky movies, but it's the fear and the unknown. You like to watch a movie make you think. A lot of those horror films were of the supernatural and stuff that, who knows if it's real or not,
I got you. It depends on what scares you. What scares me is the emergency alert system. The emergency alert system, the one we've all grown up with. For some reason, it seems like it's taking a more, what they even had it mentioned on TV, just a more of a civil warning. It just seems like it's got more of a duck and cover kind of flavor to it nowadays, with being threatened by North Korea threatening to nuke us and whatnot. But the reason I'm bringing this up is in 4 minutes and 36 seconds, we're going to have a test of the emergency broadcast system on this station. So if we're talking,
it's going to be all right.
Well, no, it's just going to be a test. But what's going to happen on your end of it is you won't be able to hear us. Okay. You won't hear the test either. That'll just be like a break of silence. So just stick with us through that. It shouldn't last too long. It usually doesn't. But, at least I have a warning here that I know it's coming up.
Right.
And it's a test.
Okay.
When it's a normal, like if it was a weather bulletin, then it would just be, it's going to be coming through in a minute. But when it's a test, we get about an hour warning. So I just want to let you know. It snuck up on me kind of quick. I knew it was coming, but I thought it was going to be a little later in the hour. So we're good for a little bit here. But anyway, yes, a lot of cool songs I see that the Fiendish Phantoms have. We're just going through your catalog here, and I got to say, I'm quite impressed.
There's one that's really weird that I don't even think belongs on the album, but it was the first song we ever got any recognition from. So, and that's Stand.
Okay.
It's not very fiendish. It's a good song, but it's not very fiendish.
It's not fiendish enough for the Phantoms.
No, but when we first made that, we signed up for Battle of the Bands online with Warped Tour and stuff, and one of the guys liked it so much that this online music magazine wanted to put that song on a downloadable card to hand out to people at the Warped Tour in California. So figured, hey, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, very cool. And of course, the CD cover has a hearse on it and other ghostly imagery. I love you got to love the hearses. I'll probably try to bring mine for the show this Saturday.
And the back of it is pretty cool too. I should have just gave you an album, but it was so busy at campus.
Well, yeah, and then
people's tires were flat.
Tires were flattened.
Bass cabinets weren't working, or bass.
No, I know you guys. Not only did they have to lend us a bass cabinet, which seems to be like a Roosevelt Dolls tradition.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be, but we're all getting, we're all kind of getting up there, and I hate to admit it, but I'm suffering some major back issues right now. I don't even know if I'm going to lift anything. I'm going to be like calling up my haunters. Can you help me set up this bar? I'm going to leave my PA speakers at the bar, I decided. I don't like, they got these monsters. I don't want to move them ever again. It's always something. And then, then we got noticed that our drummer got a flat tire. So and then you guys were totally helping him out with his tire. I was like...
Yeah, I was kind of worried because I was the only one there watching Rat Bat Spider. And I'm kind of old school where I like to have as many members of the band support the other bands.
Oh,
so
exactly.
Like, where are these guys? Are they out there just smoking? And then they told me they were helping you with the tire. So.
Yeah. Right. I think the mad scientist was being extremely helpful, and that was cool of you guys. We were already hanging out outside. I was talking to your singer, and I was talking to you guys outside because we were kind of starting to load our stuff in and whatnot, and I was, I kind of was going back and forth so I could catch the Rat Bat Spider. And, because everybody, like 6 guys working on a spare tire. I think it was going to be okay. But, that's when those things happen. And, but the whole night was a good time. I love Kolchansky's. I love the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I dig that place. And, I'm going to set up another one. I'm going to get a hold of them tomorrow. I want to set up another horror show up there.
That would be cool.
Because
now a horror show like your horror show, not like Clockwork Orange horror show, or a little of both.
Well, bring it on. Just I want to start hitting the Milwaukee's old stomping ground, so I really want to start getting back up there. Frank's Power Plant's another one that seems really interesting to me. There's just a lot of cool old pubs, and then like Kolchansky's was actually a polka bar. Accordions everywhere. It was cool. Awesome.
I grew up hearing polka all the time. My mom on Sundays would play it.
Okay. Now
Polish, so.
we're gonna get that. They're gonna cut in on us now. We got 4 seconds, and it's gonna cut in. Okay. So give us about 3.
This is a test message from the Emergency Alert System originating from the State of Wisconsin Emergency Operations Center. If this had been an actual emergency, you would have been given official information, news, or instructions. This test is now concluded.
Okay, we're back. Are you still there, Oliver?
Oh, yeah, that was faster than I thought.
That was good. Did you hear it? You didn't hear it, did you?
Oh, I heard that beautiful noise for a little bit, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, it's just the whole tone of what they say sounds different than it used to me. It said that if there had been an emergency, they're going to give you instructions on what to do, and it used to seem more weather-orientated in the past. I don't know.
And now with all the doomsday clock and stuff going on?
Well, yeah. This is, when I was in the early punk rock days, way back, right up until like 1984 and prior years before that, it was like everyone was like thinking, 84 was going to be it. We were all expecting the bomb to drop like at any minute, and it was really it was a darker, it was a dark time. And then of course, the Berlin Wall came down and all of that, and it kind of seemed like the Cold War cooled off, and in the end of the 80s, we didn't have that feeling at all. It was like it totally had changed. But now, and for younger generations, now they're kind of growing up with, they're in their 20s, like Lilith, she's growing up with this. And now we're back to that threat again. Yeah. And at least with Russia, even though there was a Cold War, they were a bigger country that you thought had their brain processes in order. This other guy, he's just is a rogue,
Oh yeah, it's pretty crazy. Times are horror right now.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a matter of it's just a matter of, even if they block the stuff, the missiles get fired and they block them, they're going to blow up somewhere, and there's going to be fallout from that.
Yep. Hopefully it never happens.
Right.
Yeah. Let's make sure. Let's hope it doesn't. And hope if it has to, then I hope we're prepared. I hope the politicians just ain't been lining their pockets all these years with our defense money, and we really don't have this big defense that they say. But it's interesting though. They're talking about a bomb that's like about the size of the one they had at Hiroshima. All right, we've had we've had a long time since 1945. And who knows what we got? They talked about the neutron bomb. Russia, remarked once that they had a bomb that wasn't nuclear that could do all this damage. But I do think what, in the worst possible scenario, I think we're going to witness something the likes of which we've never seen before. We're going to find out. There's going to be it's going to be an awakening of firepower and war technology that we're kept in the dark. We have to be. If we're still talking nukes, this many years since, World War II, there's so much we don't know, and that's maybe we don't need to know. It doesn't need to be all over Facebook so the enemy can know what we're doing.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I think sometimes in this generation of the online and you can get news anywhere, I think sometimes we leak a little too much. I mean, other countries can see what we're writing,
And that was a big point that was being brought up a couple months back with the tweets that the president was making, is it gives other countries a glimpse into both our country and exactly the way our president thinks. Mm-hmm. And that can be dangerous within itself.
Yep.
Well, that could all be a bluff too, I mean, Trump is a big distraction in himself, and so let's just hope they're on the game with all this. We'll have to see what happens, but they're advancing, and it's just craziness, is what it is, that we're still at that point.
Let's just hope it stays like how like the movies. That's. Just have it be that stuff happens in movies, not in real life.
Yeah, I got you. Like it,
Last Man on Earth by Vincent Price, classic.
Yeah, right. We later turned into the Omega Man with Charlton Heston.
Yeah, and then even after that, I think I Am Legend, which is what the book was called, with Will Smith.
Yes, yeah.
But Vincent's my favorite one, so I take that one.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. The Price is always right with Vincent Price.
He might have been on that show, too. You never know. He was on the Muppets. So he might have been on The Price is Right, too.
I wouldn't be surprised. He would do. They paid him. He'd be there. That's how that would go with Vincent Price. He was in everything. He was the egghead on Batman. He did the famous Hawaii episode of the Brady Bunch. I mean.
And then where I first heard of him, the little bit of the rap in Michael Jackson's Thriller.
Oh, right. He did that, and he also he did a track with Alice Cooper, too, back in the day.
Yep.
And
I got to meet Alice Cooper, actually, 2 years ago at the Days of the Dead convention.
Yeah, we were backstage while
that
he was doing
last year, wasn't it?
No, that was... Yeah, that was last...
That was last year.
Well, not last year's, because last year's would technically be this year's.
Okay.
So 2 years ago. It makes sense. But we were backstage when he was doing his panel, and we got to kind of hang out with him, and the Jasons were backstage, too.
Yeah, there was three of the guys that played Jason Voorhees hanging out.
CJ,
awesome.
yeah.
And we got to get a couple pictures with Alice, and then...
That was really cool. He was so intellectual and so well-spoken and eloquent. Listening to him talk was an amazing experience.
Oh, yeah, and you could tell that he enjoys interacting with fans.
Yes.
You know, some of the people, I'm not going to mention names, so you can tell they're just there to make their money.
Yep, I definitely know what you mean there. But it's really cool.
But I am kind of jealous. I am kind of jealous that you got to meet my favorite wrestler of all time, and unfortunately, I missed it because we went to the wrong place for the convention, and when I got there, he was gone. Ric Flair, you got to meet Ric Flair. I'm just jealous.
That was a really cool experience because I didn't even know what was I'm a huge wrestling fan. I didn't know what was happening. I was just kind of getting ready for the convention and throwing all my stuff together at the bar, and Ric Flair was sitting behind me and actually offered me some of the pizza he was eating because I looked hungry. And he was just the sweetest, coolest guy ever. I totally went into fangirl, almost crying mode of just wow. I love you so much. And he's like, that's cool. Would you like some pizza? Thank you. He was really cool. Him and I got to meet Sting. Sting was really cool as well. Lita was one of my favorites to actually meet ever. She's one of my biggest heroes, but that's one of the cool things about Days of the Dead is they do bring in some really cool wrestlers as well.
Do you remember a female wrestler named Daphne?
Yes.
Little story here. When she was in WCW and they used to have a talk-in radio show. Yeah. I called in to tell her that I had, when there was Yahoo GeoCities, I had a website dedicated to her. I was the first one to make a website for her.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
And she sent me pictures of when she got married to, I think it was the guitarist of Stuck Mojo. She sent me in a private email photos of it so I could put it on the website and stuff. This was years ago, but it was pretty cool.
That is very cool. Oh wow.
Yeah, that is awesome. Oh, well, I tell you, I'm really looking forward to this show on Saturday.
I am too. I want to see you guys live. I really like your sound. I'm very excited to see the whole thing live.
Yeah, when I listen to our CD, I try not to because listening to your own music is kind of a weird thing. I don't know if you can relate to that destruction, but it's just weird because you feel weird listening to yourself. But the album, and I try to tell the rest of the guys in the band, but they don't believe me. Almost every band, when they play live, they play faster.
Oh, yeah. You want to practice them slower and kind of get used to that because it's automatic, absolutely automatic that you're going to play faster.
Does your drummer sometimes get mad when you play faster?
Yeah, he was doing that the other night. He was playing them a little, but I thought, it's a younger crowd, so why not? I didn't... To tell you the truth, I just was in the mode. I was just going along. It was not even something that was on my mind. I got enough to do with them singing and playing at the same time, so,
Okay.
But
your band was awesome. I still got, I don't know what song it is, I apologize, but I still got this little, ditty in my head. It's do, 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 do.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, that's just an old blues riff you're talking about. I know exactly what you mean.
But mixing it with what you play, see, that's what I kind of like about our music too. Your music is, you can't pigeonhole it into one genre.
Right? Yeah, I don't want to be a one-trick pony.
No, and we never even we wanted to do something horror sci-fi-ish. We had all kinds of different names at what our band was going to be called. Some of them were really silly, like Backseat Bingo, but that's another story. But yeah, we wanted to do the horror thing. But as far as music, we just play whatever in the basement, and whatever comes out comes out.
No, you guys had a lot of versatility. That's what I liked about it. You weren't just, doing that, one kind of thing. You guys are all over the place. You had stuff you did with a lot of distortion on your guitar, and then other stuff was really clean. As a matter of fact, we listened to that track while we were getting ready here.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm a little partial to the distortion, but I like the clean with the heavy reverb. So.
Gotta have reverb, right?
Oh gosh.
I mean, so many bands don't play with that, and maybe they don't need to, but there's so many bands out there. There's two different kinds. There's bands that are just real rock and roll and sort of two-dimensional, okay? But then there's other bands that use effects and play melodically And those bands have more of a three-dimensional, they have imagery, okay? They're creating imagery. And the other bands, if they're not really doing that, then they really don't even care if there's reverb on vocals or guitars. And I mean, I'll go to clubs, they don't even have reverb or digital for the vocals. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Night Stalker would die.
Right. Don't worry, we'll have it for the port. Obviously.
But he does have his own pedal.
Okay.
That's all he has to carry. I'm always jealous of him that he doesn't have to carry as much.
Well, bring whatever you can. If you got a couple extra PA monitors, that might help. It's just a little place.
Well, I saw some pictures. It looks pretty cool. I like how that big door swings open. It looks like on the stage. It looks like there's a big door.
Yeah. It's a it's a room. It's a room, and then there's it's a room, and then there's like another room that would have been that has a fireplace, and you'll really dig it. It's a good crowd too. People they come through. They're in and out of there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we're really looking forward to that. I will play some of your tunes between the 3 and 4 hour. I think we'll play several of them actually.
Feel free.
Yeah.
There is one song that we didn't. Well, there was a few songs we didn't play at our show because I didn't feel like bringing my other guitar because I'm having trouble with it. But it's in drop D, and one of the songs that's on there is about other people say Elizabeth, some say Elizabeth, but Elizabeth Bathory. One of the Blood Countess is about her.
Oh, yes. That's
so that
cool.
one's a little heavy, though. That one's a little heavy. But
Wait, I like that, though. You guys have a very theatrical quality that I really enjoy.
Oh, yeah. We'd like to do even more. Like, one of our things that we would love to do is that when we're playing Blood Countess, it used to be our closer, but Phantom Machine is now our closer, but we'd actually like not every song, but a couple songs actually have, like, that person, like a person dress up as that person, like, somebody dress up in a flannel and that deer hunting hat, like Ed Gein, and like roam around the crowd, stuff like that would be really cool.
Definitely sounds like you guys have a really cool vision for what you're doing.
I appreciate that you guys like it. It means a lot. Like,
yeah, though it's awesome stuff. Absolutely. I was like, I asked you right away that night to come down and do the show with us.
I know, and I was like telling the rest of the band, I'm like, we got to do that show, man. We got to do it. I mean, if we don't do this show, it's going to be something I am going to regret the rest of my life that I didn't do it. I hate living with regret.
Oh, now we'll have many more. I'm sure, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. We're talking to Oliver, the Caretaker Collins, from the Fiendish Phantoms, which will be playing with my band, the Roosevelt Dolls, for the 16th anniversary of Crimson Theater at the Port of Kenosha Beverage House, 714 50th Street. And it's going to be a great time. You want to come and check these guys out. They're awesome. If you love the genre and you love it and you love rock and roll, you'll love these guys. It's going to be great. And, thanks a lot for being on the show, and we'll see you Saturday.
Thank you, and stay fiendish.
Okay, I will
Thank you.
do.
Take
I will.
care. Can't wait till Saturday.
All right.
Live and local. This is AM 1050 WLIP. Dr. Destruction's Big Top Radio broadcast. After midnight, WLIP.
The ghoulies are waiting, it's late at night. The doctors and the TV crew give them a fright. The movies are cheesy and so's the host. Look out, honey, here's 13 ghosts. And Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, Guilty Monster, Eater. And Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, Dr. Destruction's Crimson Theater, ghoulies, come on! Showtime, ghoulies.
It is indeed showtime, ghoulies, as we now enter Morning Musical Mayhem. Or is it Musical Morning Mayhem?
Either one.
All right. It's been a great night for music here on the Big Top Radio broadcast. And,
It has.
yeah, we want to thank everyone that came on. It was great.
Yeah.
And we promised to play some music. So let's let this one roll out. It's called Ed. I wonder who they're talking about. Could he be from Wisconsin? We'll just have to listen. right, a little sample of the Fiendish Phantoms. They'll be playing with us, the Roosevelt Dolls, at the Port of Kenosha Beverage House, 714 50th Street. That's Saturday. We got to get all our listeners out there.
Yes. You guys got to come out for that one.
Yeah, we got to get Shirley out there in the mosh pit. Get Lenny Palmer to come out.
Oh, yeah.
I think we having a lighten up somewhere this week. We never got around to that.
No.
I'm sure something's going on.
I'm sure. He's a busy man.
He's a busy man. He's an artist. He's an author. He's a talk show host. It's Lenny Palmer. 8 to noon here on AM 1050 WLIP. So I'm going to roll another one from the Fiendish Phantoms. This one's called Blood Countess. That's a festive little name. Yeah, it's a lot heavier than their other tune, isn't it?
Yeah, that was. I dig it, though.
No, it's going to be a great show at the Port Saturday, so hands down on that one. And, of course, there's going to be a benefit show for Dave Dredd at Hattrick's Friday night. I hope everybody gets out and supports that. And, let's roll this other one by the Fiendish Phantoms called Old Man.
you find